Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday Goddess Chat.
Wednesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We're switching to
Switch
the
it up.
afternoons now. Yeah, switch it up. We have to do what we can do to fit it into our abundant schedule.
Yes, indeed. We are grateful to spend some time with you every Wednesday, whenever it might be.
That's right. That's right.
So we are here today to share and discuss the goddess Freya.
Freya. Yeah, she's our Nordic goddess. And we've been talking about her in terms of radical acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the battle or if things just don't seem to be going your way and you might fall into some destructive behaviors. Let's take a step back, and Freya tells us that we can fly overhead like a Valkyrie, ready to swoop down and gain some better clarity and not feel like we are trapped. That we can accept what is and basically and move on.
Well, and being that we are in Mercury retrograde, in the first week of that, I believe we went into retrograde on Saturday. I'm definitely feeling Freya saying it's okay to set that down, and like you don't have to keep fighting it. Like it's instead of finding myself in a space of feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, to just put it down and walk away. And Paige and I were talking about this earlier today, about how we've both been experiencing some things that were like, okay, why am I spinning out on this? And that's a form of being in the battle, right? Like when we're fighting the current of confusion or frustration or what have you. And Mercury retrograde definitely gives us a lot of opportunities to decide, am I going to stay in this frustration, or am I going to pause and step away?
Right. And reevaluate, whatever it is you need to do in retrograde. And communication, when you're not getting your point across, you're not understanding, they're not understanding you, is so frustrating. It feels like a war. And that's one aspect of this energy. And then, of course, we have technology, which for me has been really testing my acceptance and finding frustration, but thinking, you know what? I had like a V8 moment yesterday. Of course, it's retrograde. And I might have even set my, I even said it before I was trying to record something with another goddess, and we couldn't hear each other. Even though the microphone said it was on, it wasn't on. And we tried to figure it out. And then I said, you know what? Well, just take a step back. And she said, I agree. Well, it doesn't have to be done now. We can fight this battle all afternoon and just till we're crazy. Let's take a step back, try to figure it out later, and we'll revisit this again. And that's what we're doing. Rather than just when things aren't going your way. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I just keep wanting to fight until it goes my way.
Yeah. Yep.
And what does that serve? It just drives you crazy, really.
And the beautiful thing about radical acceptance is that it's such a gift, because we don't have to fight. Right? When we realize that we can actually say, I don't have to do this. I can put it down. I don't have to carry this. I can accept this for what it is. What a gift that is, because it it just takes this weight off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I've learned over the years, that there are conversations that I don't want to participate in, because I know where they're going. I know that I can see very clearly that if I go down this path, this is the outcome. And so then I observe in myself, do I want to feel that way? Do I want to have that experience that's going to lead me to feeling this dis-ease down here? Or do I choose peace? Do I choose my peace over the fight? And when I choose my peace over the fight, then I'm able to let it go. And literally, it's like I'm taking a weighted jacket off my body, and it just falls to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So radical acceptance is a form of radical self-love, right?
That's funny how you were talking about taking off this cloak. She wears a cloak of feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And other gods borrow it because it's magical.
Isn't that amazing?
I know, isn't it? So I just thought that was funny, and that it's feathers, and that she's accompanied by that energy, that and there's a lot to her. I'm going to dive into more because it fascinates me about her mythology and her her story is interesting. They're all really interesting. But you know how we've been talking about these goddesses, and not only we talk about that they come from the heart, there's always that sense of compassion and in everything that these goddesses bring. And so too with Freya, it comes to my mind that, radical acceptance is having compassion for yourself, where maybe, you're beating yourself up, or you're feeling the victim.
Yeah.
Or you feel like you're being dragged into a situation, and that you can use that heart-centered compassion, bring peace to the situation.
Yes.
Not just be the peacemaker, but just bring peace to yourself.
Bring peace to yourself. Yeah. And then that's essentially what I was sharing, is that's for me. And that doesn't mean that I'm, able to do it every time, because I'm human and I have this human experience. And some days I'm not grounded. And when I'm not grounded, I definitely feel that fighting, like I have to fight forward instead of ease into it. Right. But the more that we cultivate the awareness of acceptance, the more that we cultivate the awareness of what feels intuitive and kind and loving for my being, the easier it is to access it when those opportunities rise up into our awareness, when we start to feel like this, right? I was sharing with Paige before we got on here today that I've spent the last 2 days kind of like spinning about a subject, and I was like, I don't know why and I literally stood outside of myself going, what are you doing? And not in a judgmental, like punishing way. It was more in a what is it that's happened that's brought you here? Like what is the core of why you're feeling this tensity and this need to spin out about the subject? And when I did that, I was able to pull back outside of it and be, okay, this is where I'm at right now. That situation doesn't exist right now. So I'm going to be here right now and let it unfold. And then when I woke up this morning, it was kind of just starting to come in again. And then I had an answer. And as soon as I stated what the answer was, it went away. And then when I was able to communicate what I needed to communicate with the person, now it's gone. Like it's not going to show back up because my voice has articulated what I need. So instead of staying in that chaos and battling with myself, I needed to just get to a point of being okay with the fact that I needed to ask for help from someone. And then when I did that, it dissipated. And that's acceptance. I can't control this right now. This is something that's out of my control. And whatever the outcome is, I know it's going to be okay because I trust every person in the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of what I've created over the last few years of my life, is surrounding myself with beautiful people that I can truly authentically speak and be heard, and know that it's going to be safe to have those authentic conversations, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a gift when you do surround yourself with people like that. It makes it all the more easy
Mm-hmm.
to discern when you may be entering into a situation that, might not be so, because you have a comparison of sorts. And then just, I love how you said you stepped away from yourself, kind of, in that mindful awareness of, okay, where is this coming from? Why is this? Instead of trying to fight it.
Yeah.
And
instead of being like, oh, stop thinking that, stop being there, there's nothing to worry. Like that's not acceptance. That's fighting. The acceptance is when you can, I talk about this a lot as a yoga teacher, and this is something that I have cultivated on the mat, is the eye of the witness. And the eye of the witness is when I can step back that witness space, where I can watch what's happening within my internal climate like it's a movie or like it's a book that I'm reading, instead of a participant that's involved in it. And that's cultivated by intentionally taking myself to the mat and practicing yoga and practicing meditation, and beginning to recognize the difference between my ego mind and my true heart. And that practice of acceptance is a part of cultivating that connection, that moving through my life with my authentic voice and my authentic heart, versus this ego mind that likes to make a mess. And really, really good at that.
Yeah. Well,
Paige, we lost you.
I'm back. My phone was just telling me that I had like 10% left on my phone. So I had to shut off that. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about that. But your ego. That the ego isn't bad. The ego is there to protect you. And so, recognize that. However, the ego will keep you stuck in that do loop.
And so I think that as far as our mission, IVG, invoking the divine goddesses, this is a place where Freya can be called in, and you can say, I need help here. I need help with finding acceptance of this, and being able to detach myself from the need to work through it, and just allow myself to be okay with the fact that maybe I don't have the answer right now, and if I step away, the answer will come. And so when we call upon these aspects of the goddess, what we're actually calling upon is that energy to enter our being, so that we can do this spiritual magical work.
That's right.
So I'm grateful that, and again, the goddess always chooses us. We did the same thing when she fell in February. We're like, Freya, really?
Yeah. Okay.
But it was perfect. It was exactly what we needed this week, was to be able to work this energy of acceptance, especially as things are maybe feeling a little bit sticky, or we're feeling like our communication's getting muddled up, or I got new tires yesterday and then drove to work this morning, and my tire gauge went off, and I couldn't figure out how the dang thing turned off, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with my tires. And so I was like, well, I'm not doing anything about it right now. I know my tires are going to get me where I need to go. And then once I was done with what I was doing, I called the place and I was like, this is what's going on. They're like, bring it by. And literally 10 minutes later, I was done and was able to go home. But the old me would have been lamenting over it for 2 hours until I could get to the place.
Right.
Or maybe I never would have made it to the place. Instead, I would have come home and begged my husband to fix it for me. I didn't know what to do. And instead, I was able to go, okay, I'm safe. There's nothing wrong with my car. I know the tires are okay because they were just put on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. Accept that it's here and there's nothing you can do about it right this second because you have an appointment you have to be at in the next 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then the answer came when I left work. Just call and ask them what to do. Okay.
But sometimes all you have to do is just relax, take it easy, ask for help when you need to. Don't fight it. Makes living so much easier.
And call on the goddess, call on the aspect
Yeah.
of the goddess Freya when you feel like you're in the middle of a fight and you can't see your way out of it. Just call to help you step outside of it and take a pause and
Mm-hmm.
sort of the answer, right?
Right. Oh,
Mm.
that's a good way. I think that's a good way to end things. We're just
Yeah. All right, goddesses. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We're grateful to spend this Wednesday time with you each week. We have our new moon gathering next Wednesday night. We hope to have you join us as we dive into the next cycle and set intentions for the coming moon cycle. So with that, namaste, blessed be, aho, have a beautiful day.
Yes, goddess. Bye.
Yes, goddess.